Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, everybody all around the world, hello and welcome to a late night edition of The Watch Report with me, your host, Jean-Luc Watch. Make some noise, clap it up, get excited wherever you are. We are back with another jam-packed show for you. My gosh, we cut it close. We cut it mighty close. I'm late. I got good reason for it though. Don't kill me. I got good reason. I was doing my civil duty, my state duty, my jury duty is what I had to do today. That's what I had to do today. So I was out and about all the way till 5 o'clock. I was rushing back home, and now we're here. I told you around 5 or 6 o'clock, and I got here at around 5 and 6 o'clock. So we're doing really good, shall we? We're doing great. This is exactly what we're supposed to be, and we welcome you with all the fervor, fire, and energy to end off this afternoon. Now, I will say, full disclaimer, I'm kind of flying a little bit blind because I was trying between doing jury duty and trying to make sure I didn't miss my name and all this stuff, trying to keep up with the news, especially with that bad Wi-Fi over there at the old courthouse. That's a whole other conversation. Regardless of which, I'm trying to do with it. We playing a lot of catch up. I'm not gonna lie, might need your help just a little bit. We're gonna have a bunch of topics. We playing the hits today. We playing the hits today. Hey, we doing it. We going hot topics, hot debates. We going straight up. Can Ryan Garcia ever beat Devin Haney? What's his thoughts against Rolly Romero? The likes of Benavidez at the ranks of heavyweight with the recent picture he put out against a current contending heavyweight and looked like he beat the brakes off of his sparring partner, who is again a heavyweight. So now begs the question, well, maybe moving up there is more likely than we can expect. And the success of Benavidez of a heavyweight, if he so chooses to go that route, ooh, what could it be? All that and so much more on this show. We got a bunch of topics in the thumbnail. We got a bunch of topics. And Boots Ennis. Oh, I forgot. Hey, we got to talk about Boots Ennis. Why Boots needs to fight Xander Zayas with no other recourse of action, in my estimation. Again, the reason, not just the fight, but the why of the fight. We're going to talk about it all with you today. We appreciate you tuning in. Again, I'm Jean-Luc Watch. Welcome to the Watch Report. Leave a like on the video. Go ahead. Comment your thoughts and opinions on the show. We want to hear your voice in the chat. Subscribe to the channel. Come join the Empire. Come join the hottest show in all of the globe right here on YouTube and on every podcasting platform imaginable. Also, be sure to hit the notification bell so you know when we post right here on YouTube. And be sure to do the most important thing, which is to share the show with everybody that you know. So we can keep on building up this empire together. All with you and your support, we can make it possible to go bigger, better, stronger, and even more dominantly as a community, all with you and your support. And if you want to help support the channel, like I said, we going to the ends of the earth, to all extents, to make sure we bring you entertainment and fun. Hey, if you want to keep this show going and you want to support the channel, we got Cash App, PayPal, links down below in the description, as well as super chat, super gift stickers, and all that stuff. If you can support through YouTube, it will mean the world to me. Absolutely, to help me pay the bills, to help me make this show bigger, better, and stronger, all for you viewing and listening pleasure. But with all that being said, we got a jam-packed show to cover. We got a lot to delve into in a short amount of time. So with all that being said, hey, we got boxing to cover. We got sports to essentially discuss, and we got fun to be had. So ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, it is time to do what we do best, and that is to step into the ring. Come on, let's get it started. Yeah, buddy, let's get it going. Ring the bell. Let's get it started. Round one of this show going away. We can honestly have this whole thing as championship rounds, because again, like I said, it's late at night. I know y'all probably heard other people talk about a bunch of other factions and the news that I wasn't able to cover on top. Like I said, doing my civil duty. So hey, don't cut me some slack. But hey, well, on top of having this as topics, discussion, debates, Benavidez, Boots, and all that stuff, we gonna also be a championship round show. Yes, indeed. Oh, it's rare. We starting off strong, and we starting off already on deck. We want to hear from you and your thoughts and opinions on anything involving the world of sports and beyond. So put it in the chat. Let's see what you got to say. But the first thing to discuss, as we have on the docket today, is, in all honesty, something about Boots Ennis with this whole situation. Post Xander Zayas, or rather post Virgil Ortiz, now it looks like Xander Zayas is in his sights as the next guy that he's going to face in his road to unification, which again we've covered multiple times on this show. Now, I'm going to take a little bit of a different detour into this, but actually before I do delve fully into that topic, hey, we got people like Al Booga joining in the chat. How you doing? Good to see you. Thank you for tuning in to the show on this late edition, this afternoon edition of the Watch What. Frankie Z, how you doing as well? Thank you for showing up, and being a diligent partitioner of our endeavors right here on the Welch Report. But like I said before, we're going to be covering a lot of stuff, and one of the things is Boots and Zayas. And I want to discuss something involving Boots and Ennis, as all roads seem to lead to Eddie Hearn, Boots, and Xander getting a fight to happen in May of this year for, hey, unification. Ain't it great? Ain't it grand? That's what we want to see. We love it, don't we? Hey, phenomenal. Big stars getting big time fights and big time drama, or rather big time accolades. But here's the reason why this is so important. And it leads back to a bigger conversation that we're having involving Boots Ennis. That was the whole dragging your feet scenario, as we knew, or as we saw before he was coming up to the world of 154. We were complaining, drug his feet at 147 to become a legit world champion. And then eventually got there, then got unified, but still drug his feet trying to get to a big fight at 154 in many people's eyes because he asked for a tune-up. Now, whether or not you think he should have had a tune-up is a whole other conversation. The point being, the discussion around Boots was, now your time has finally arrived. Well, the thing with Virgil Ortiz, that was supposed to be the crowning moment if he won for Boots Ennis, has now fallen through. Yes, we understand that completely. Now, what does that mean? Well, the pivot is to go after belts and make your name big. Now, there are some people, not many, but there's a vocal enough voice to be had that, hey, needs to be discussed. Zayas may seem like a small step for somebody in fodder when it comes to somebody of the cachet of Boots Ennis as a contender. We understand with the talent, with everybody looking at him as the next one of the biggest faces in boxing, akin to one of the most unique athletic freaks of nature that we have in the sport today. No question, many people say he can't be beat. We'll find out. But either way, even with Xander being a unified champ, him being so young seems like for some, an easy accolade to accomplish. Not that he's taking the easy road, but because of where Zayas is, and probably we're gonna see Boots take it. And I do believe that's the case. But we have to pump the brakes and look at the bigger scope of why this fight is such a necessary thing for the likes of Boots Ennis. And that is because Boots Ennis needs this fight to elevate to the ultimate form. See, there's been times where you get a fight that is the big launching point for somebody's career. And it took a while, but for Terrence Crawford, it was, in the public eye, Errol Spence Jr., though it should have been a whole lot earlier. And honestly, I thought it was Sean Porter for a good chunk of people that really said, oh my gosh, okay, Crawford is that type of guy. Understandable. And for other fighters, it's been different scenarios. In a way, it was no need to Donaire. It was Ben Rodriguez against, I think it was Estrada at 115. These things happen. Kind of the launching points of people's career. Even Shakur Stevenson, when he beat, you could use Jamal Herring, but ultimately, this win against T.O. was that launching point. He was already in the eye, okay, he's going to be the next guy, and now, boom, he is the guy. For Boots to get to the status of the guy, not a guy, not one of the stars, but the star in this big time sport of boxing that we see, it's going to take, I'm going to be completely honest, it may sound harsh. We're looking at this from the public appeal point of view. It's going to take Virgil Ortiz for that ultimate hump to be gotten over. That's the truth. And I hate it because we want to say, again, he can do so much other stuff, but I'm not going to lie. We know this boxing game is fickle, both in the sport and as fans who watch this sport. Zayas is a unified champion, is currently the youngest champion in boxing, and even with that being said, people are going to hold it against him and for some people, when he loses to Boots Ennis. And because of that, it's going to hold Boots' accomplishment potentially at a detraction. That's not fair. Be clear. It's not fair at all. I'll be the first one to tell you this right now. It ain't fair in the slightest. It ain't fair. It's scary. It's a scary sentiment to think about that we have. Sadly, even with accolades that can be great and accomplished and what we want from a star, it can still be a ball and chain for their rise in their career and still be said they haven't fought anybody. And I'm prepping you now for those of you that are watching. And if you are, please leave a like on the stream. And I appreciate you showing up. It means the world to me. Absolutely. And share the show. But I'm telling you this now. With that fight looking like it's really on the horizon, we understand, or rather, we need to understand, this fight is not going to be the fight that puts Boots over the top for the star that he can be. But it is necessary that he takes this fight because it sets up that leap. Remember what we said about Ryan Garcia? Him getting a belt against Devin Haney, him getting a belt against Mario Barrios builds up that rematch for Devin Haney even more. Devin Haney getting a fight with Rolly Romero. Haney, if he beats Rolly, becomes unified. And now you bring a whole swath of weight onto their ultimate matchup. And the winner of that is solidified, catapulting nature. There's no more potential spring that can be sprung than that type of setup. Now, we don't want slow builds to happen. We want fights against the best versus the best at their best when the time is right. We understand that. However, because we're operating in a world where it didn't come to pass what we wanted, well, we had to look at the right decisions to make that fight unavoidable. Ultimately, with Ortiz at some point in time, or at least to the point that star power that we want to get on Boots ultimately does happen. Zayas is the road to do it. It's bigger than just winning a belt. It is a further inclination of the latent potential that the public, not Boots, that the public put on Boots. And he needs this. Even if there's going to be detractions that come his way. Because let's be clear, if he knocks out Xander Zayas in 5 rounds or less, which there's no respect to Xander Zayas, it is entirely possible. Oh, yes. Oh, yeah. Understand this completely. And in fact, we can even do a quick segue into a jumping topic into that fight in and of itself. I'm telling you, I do love these transitions. Shout out to NBA Street. That's, hey. It's great. But either way, that fight can end quick and in a hurry. Boots versus Zayas can end in 5 rounds or 6. Now, it could go 12, absolutely, but don't be surprised if we saw that fight go short. Not because Zayas ain't great, or he doesn't deserve to be a champion, or the brother ain't really talented. He is. But the fact of the matter is, Boots, my understanding, and in my opinion, is just that much of a better fighter. Like with Zayas is young. We get it. But, tell him, if he does end quick, it's going to be held against him. Particularly because of the notion, too young, too inexperienced. He got to the top of the mountain quick, understandable, but he wasn't ready for you. So we can't hold that as a big time win. There's going to be people that say that. Because of that, mind you, you're going to hear a lot of that noise. He ain't fought nobody. But understand, though that may sound bad, that actually works in favor of somebody like a Boots Ennis or anybody else for that matter, from a star's potential. Because the biggest sign that somebody is working and elevating up is when people start tearing down the resume that they bring to the table and looking at the fights that they've had, nitpicking to the point that you try to detract from the greatness that they actually are shown. And Zayas is the start of that with Boots. Yeah, sure. Had it at 147 to some degree. Understandable. At the same breath, a lot of people moved out or retired from that division. But now, it can happen. And if you hear those nitpicks happen, guess what that means? The brother's doing something right. It's a necessary thing to be had. I'm just prepping you. Because if and when, because it's going to happen, that fight takes place, you're going to hear this if Boots wins. He still ain't fought nobody impressive. He ain't fought nobody with some real talent. You're going to hear it. On the same level that you heard it with other stars in the sport. But that means he's doing something right. He really does. But let me see what you all got to say. Ramon Vasquez, how you doing? Welcome. Oh, that's the wrong sound. Wait a minute. I forgot to switch over. Hold on a minute. There we go. Welcome back. How you doing? Good to see you. Thank you for joining in on this late edition of the Watch What. Like I said, I had jury duty. Okay, I had jury duty. So I had to handle business, my civic duty. And now I'm back. And we're still going to give you a show worth your while to end off your afternoon. Hopefully you have some fun. Hopefully you're sitting down and relaxing. And you love to engage in the chat and in the conversation. And if you're just listening, hey, leave a like. It's one click does a world of difference, and we appreciate it so much. Let me see what you got to say on today. It's not a technical fight. It's a mental fight between Ryan and Haney, and we are about to get to that, between what type of fight it is, as to why we have this question of, can he actually beat him the second time around? Give me 5 minutes. I'm going to address this very point right here, because this bleeds right into the next topic of discussion. Absolutely. Let me see. No way Bob Father feeds Xander to Boots. Now, I would have said that, and we know Bob Arum, one of the oldest, literally Methuselah in the world of boxing as a promoter, been around since, the dawn of time, just about. But, genuinely, the fight can't happen, because they're now signed with the zone. If you didn't know, breaking news for some people around the boxing world. Hey, pay attention. Listen up if you didn't know. Credible sources seem to be putting out on multiple platforms that the zone has now taken Top Rank under their wing, under their regime. And now Top Rank and the zone are essentially partners, broadcast partners in that respect. What that means, they're working side by side in tandem with each other. What that could mean is that it's not good, most likely will mean, if I understand my business acumen in boxing correctly. If I'm wrong, please correct me. But it's a lot easier to get business done when now both of y'all are supporting each other, from the standpoint of making fights that the fans want to see, instead of being so fervently competitive against each other. Matchroom closely works with, again, the zone, Top Rank, while still a separate entity, absolutely, still its own promotion, now working under the same umbrella that Matchroom's working under, from the standpoint of broadcasting. So it could be, I said could, again, if I'm wrong, please correct me, but it could be Eddie Hearn, Bob Arum might play nice with each other. Hey, they might. You scratch my back, I scratch yours. Could be something that takes place. Not saying it's gonna, I'm saying it's possible. Or at least more likely with this all-encompassing umbrella that the zone has over now two of some of the most dominant promotions and stables in boxing. That's why I think this fight really is gonna happen. And also understand, Eddie Hearn is smart and believes in Boots. So he's going to push for that fight as well. Because if this stays true, that Boots does want to really go after real comp, if it does, then this consistency that we saw with Eddie Hearn chasing the biggest fight he could with Ortiz will stay consistent with Eddie Hearn going after Zayas. I truly do believe that. And it could be that at this point in time, Zayas is an asset that is still good to be thrown to the wolves, if you view it that way, because he can recover, because he's so young, because he's already accomplished this much. Because for a lot of people at 154, Zayas will still give a world of problems, even though Boots is Boots. Zayas can still compete with the most of the championship status in the world of 154, if not become a champion again, if it fell to that regime or fell to that situation that he lost the fight. And still has a backing of star marketability. He could recover theoretically, not even theory, in all reality, because he hasn't even reached his prime, and come back and still be something phenomenal. Not a loss of investment that we see with other boxers from the standpoint of how boxing normally eats them up and spits them out. You lose one time, you're gone away. At least, again, from my perspective. So, that's why I think the fight can happen. And that's why I think, on top of that, the money he can make more than he can make for anybody else right now, outside of what, Ortiz. So I think yeah, I think yeah. But again, that's my opinion at this point in time. But let me see. No reason at all to make them fight from Xander. It's not. But like at this point, what else can Xander do? And we've also said we've also said, if you're champ, you're gonna have to fight everybody, and we don't want people ducking. And at the same breath, even though I said Zayas ain't ready, I also understand that Zayas himself has been looking for big time opportunities. This would be that opportunity. On top of being unified champion, getting him that headliner spot, that spotlight that he wants it. His whole career has been moving quick. So he became the youngest champion in boxing. Even if he's not ready, he wants this spotlight. Even if it's a risk that's far too great. And again, if he's like that, I applaud it, because that's what we ask for. Don't be afraid of the failure. Go after it and learn if you do lose. And if you win, my gosh, the upside is incredible. And you definitely are not over the hill where all of a sudden now you don't get another opportunity. Most likely you will. That's why I'm saying I think it would be worth the risk, even though the risk is monumental. Even though it's monumental. In my opinion. But let me see. Bobby Arum has to make Zayas. Thank you. See, I feel the same way. He's got to risk it. It's too good not to risk. And at this point, with everything that's going on with the likes of Golden Boy, Ortiz, and all that stuff, from a promoter's perspective, with the rapport of the public, you want the reputation, or to continue the reputation, that you're going to give fans the fights that they want to see. And again, speculation on my part, but I think it tracks. If you show that you trust your stars on all levels to go into the fire, unlike what people are saying about Oscar De La Hoya not trusting Xander or not trusting Ortiz to get in this same fire, breeds a level of rapport with other fighters that may be getting out of their contracts, like Ryan Garcia. Other fighters that may be going through and getting ready to look for a free agent partner to take them under the ring. Re-secure fighters that were already under your stable, but you want them back, like Shakur Stevenson, because you're going to give me the fights that I want to have happen. Some risk, again, the ripple effects of the down the line may be worth it, in my opinion. It might be. So I think he should do it. And also, I'll ask you, what other fight do you want? I'll ask the public, what other fight do you want for Boots if it's not Virgil Ortiz, which we can't have anymore because fight's off. And if it's not Xander Zayas, who else do you want that would be the most intriguing match? I'm talking about just one where it's an X factor like Majimov. Sure, yeah, that'd be a great fight. I'm talking about from the biggest public appeal. What other fight makes everybody look and say, okay, that's something I need to pay attention to? I don't think it's any other one except for Zayas that tops this list. Outside of, again, Sebastian Fundora and Keith Thurman. Sure. Errol Spence. Sure, because Errol Spence is Errol Spence. But from a championship caliber, it's only one of the name, Fundora. And he's tied up with somebody. At least, and that's why I think if you're going to take a step and you just want to keep your momentum rolling, because we just had Boots come off with one of the most talked about fighters and straight up people in the sports world. I saw people outside of boxing saying they want to see that fight. I'm telling you right now, don't let that go to waste. Don't let that go to waste. Don't let that momentum go to waste. Use it. Take hold of it. Make a fight with the unified champion Zayas happen, so that if he does accomplish it, it's a risk that's worth it, because Bob Arum's fighter in Zayas can recover from that because he's only, 23, 22? And Boots even further cements the fact, okay, yeah, this brother, okay, he's the truth. And now it only further puts the emphasis on Fundora. We want to see that even more. Ortiz, we want to see that ultimately above everything else. And it fuels the fire and helps to elevate that pedestal that we've been saying Boots can get on. And that he should be on, at least in my opinion. Absolutely. Let me see. This will be a step up for the two fights. It will be. Absolutely. Look what, and I'll even ask you, do you see Zayas as Ortiz's hardest fight to date? If he did take that fight, do you think he's better than Stanionis? Do you think he's better than Shukajan? If so, I'm not mad at that fight happening. Because it's for a title and it is the biggest test for both of them. And it matches as close as we can get to biggest fights in the best case scenario when you want to see it when they're both in their prime or getting into their prime or at least when they're both accomplished and they're there. So I think that's why I think it should happen. Let me see. We'll see. I'd be shocked if Xander agrees to the Boots fight. Now, I'm going to tell you this. Don't be. Unless he's waiting for Fundora versus Thurman to finish and he gets that fight, don't be shocked. Don't be shocked if by at least the end of the year, maybe not in May, maybe it doesn't happen in May, by the end of the year, we may hear some more legitimate percolations that Zayas is actually down to get in the ring with Boots Ennis. We might, again, speculation. Like I said, speculation. But I do believe he's up for it. Because Zayas, he's hungry. He is hungry. I can't take that away from him. That brother, he wants to fight. He wants to go. He wants to work. He wants to work. He doesn't fit the mold that everybody said that he doesn't want to fight competition. He's running. He wants the work. I'm telling you. Unless he moves otherwise, to prove me wrong. That's why I think, yeah, this will happen. Listen, Zayas is very skillful for greener than Boots. Oh, absolutely. Absolutely. It's a huge risk. Again, I'm picking Boots to win by KO if they did fight. But it's the fact that that's the best fight to make in my opinion. Let me see. DRF, what's going on with you? How you doing? Good to see you. Thank you for tuning into the show with us on today. We appreciate all your support. Nothing against the youngster. He's going to do bigger. He is. I'm not trying to put him in this matchup to put him down. This is simply to say this is the best fight I can see made happen. And so I think it should happen. But we appreciate you, DRF, coming in on the show. What's up to you? Von Greenhill, how you doing as well? Thank you for showing up and showing out. We're glad that you're here. We're glad that you're showing up. Boots versus the winner between Fundora or Keith Thurman. If not Xander, I would love that. I would absolutely love that. Now, I don't know if they can fight by May. So that's why I'm thinking they wouldn't have, minimum, end of year. Boots, I could see him getting in the ring with one of the two. By the end of the year, again, in terms of Fundora or Thurman, I can see him getting in the ring or at least potentially getting a fight with one of them by the end of the year. Most likely by, November, December. If he's planning on keeping his word and fighting in May. My track record was he's going to try to get a fight with Zayas in May. And then after that, he fights the winner of Thurman versus Fundora afterwards in November or somewhere around that, the later half. Christmas, Thanksgiving time. Because the average, you fight, 2 times a year just about? I mean, his first fight was, less than a minute or less than 2 minutes, excuse me. So it ain't like he got, he hurt. It ain't like he wasted a bunch of energy. It ain't like he had to recover from nothing. So I wouldn't be surprised if maybe he does both. And I would hope so. I really would hope so, absolutely. But I can see that going through. Aaron, what's going on with you? How you doing? Thank you for tuning in to the show. We're so happy that you're here. Joining us on the live, please hit the like on the video. Leave a like on the stream. One click makes a world of difference for us, and keep on sharing the show and telling people about it. Like I said, it's a late show only because we had to do our civic duty with jury duty. So we had to come through and rush back home to make the fight happen. I was there till 5 o'clock going through waiting to get called. Never got called. Now I'm back home. So, hey, all well and good, but even still, We're going to give the time of day to all of you. We're going to be discussing all of the boxing world and the sports, what it has to offer. But Xander versus Boots is a good fight. Yes, it's a great fight. A phenomenal fight. For a belt for Boots, any champ, or even Charlo. Now, Charlo, if I'm thinking the right, we got some news on Charlo. It is confirmed he's going to fight with Cindy's, the brother who beat Caleb Plant. At 168, they're finally going to scrap with each other. So it's confirmed now. So I'm excited for it. We're going to talk about that fight if we get to it. Yeah, we're going to talk about that fight as well. But Jermell Charlo at 154. I think before we can talk about him fighting against Boots Ennis or any of the champions, we need to talk about him around the framework of Spence and Tim Tszyu. Talk about him around that framework with those two first. If you want to say Boots because he's a big name in terms of Jermell Charlo, sure, you can bring him up as well. But in terms of getting out the gate, most likely he's going to be amongst that tandem. Tim Tszyu, Errol Spence, winner fights Charlo. Then we get the ball rolling. That's what I mean. That would make sense to me. That's what I would love to see. Absolutely. Let me see a boxing now. Welcome back. How you doing? Welcome back to the show on this afternoon. We appreciate you coming in on our live today. Again, please hit the like on the video and keep on showing the love and showing support to the channel. We love you all and we're glad that you're here. He can fight a top 5 154 guy and maintain his fight. He can. And like we said, at 154, there's dogs everywhere. Old dogs, new dogs, anybody else. Or everybody, in the world of boxing at 154 is a menace, or at least a threat, or was formerly a threat. And here, you know what? This is actually a great segue. A quick segue, that we can take. A quick segue. Oh, that was so cringe. I'm gonna figure out a different way, a different movement for the transition. But either way, as we transition just a little bit, even the worst of the worst perceived amongst this top 10, top 15 at 154 is dangerous. Why? Because most of them were dangerous before. You got different tiers and levels, but either everybody's in their prime, getting ready to be in their prime, or is trying to regain their prime and is doing one last hurrah to get themselves some boxing glory. The last hurrahs, the old heads, Thurman, Spence, and even Tim Tszyu, though again, he lost, he's kind of out the picture. We'll put Charlo in that situation more so than Tim Tszyu at this point in time. But even still, the old heads trying to regain their former glory. And if they do get back to the light to where they're looking great, all of a sudden, they're dangerous. Oh, they're really dangerous. Because we saw what they could do before. If Errol Spence brings that same fire at 147 up to 154, we got ourselves a world of trouble with everybody in the division. Oh, yes, indeed. It's scary times out here. If we get Charlo looking like what he used to look like at 154, it's some scary times out here. If, we don't know. The unknowns, the unpredictables, on top of the established foundation of how dangerous this division is, makes for a volatile concoction. And it's incredible. So yeah, that's another statement as well. Now, that's not what the public won't want to see, just a top 5. Because remember the conversation that we were having with Boots Ennis. Championships or bust was his MO here. At 147, we wanted it to finally transition forward. But at 154, it is a necessity that is non-negotiable. Because remember, when he didn't fight even though it was a tune-up fight, which again, I have no problem with tune-ups with fighters, I've said this before. But we know what the public's reaction was when he fought against Lima, whoever it was that he fought. Why are you doing this, not going after either the baddest brother in the division or a champion outright? It was concerning. It was frustrating. It won't shoot him down to fight somebody within the top 5. But the public's going to say, why did you go after them? Why did you go after them who don't have a belt instead of somebody that does? Why? Ortiz, we understand. Should have we wanted that, so we're fine that you went after that. But if it ain't Ortiz, it better be for a title. That's the public's demeanor. But I'm speaking from the perspective of how the world is viewing Boots at this violent point in time. That's why I said in the thumbnail. Whoa, that's why I said in the title, why Boots needs Zayas. It's bigger than just, oh, we can get a belt. That's one of the things. Without that belt, a lot of people are going to view any movie that he makes. If it ain't for somebody that has a title, why are you wasting our time? Simply telling you what the public will feel, because we've seen it before. As much as I can talk up what this division is, people don't care. They don't. They care about the hardware around your waist. Even with the de-elevated significance of it, with the way that we see sanctioning bodies work. If Boots does not get the belt in his next fight, the public will hate him. Or rather, they will critique him to some degree unfairly, because they only want championships or Ortiz. With anything other than that, vitriol, fire, brimstone, and soot thrown on Boots' name. The same rhetoric that we heard was with Ortiz. Why don't you have a belt yet? Why aren't you going after a championship? Why are you not pushing to fight the tops up here? That you're going to start hearing that with Boots. If his next fight is not a championship fight, it's not fair. But that's what's going to happen. Because we know how this public works. We know how this boxing game works. Absolutely. And Albuquerque finally a Charlo sighting. Yeah, finally we got ourselves a Charlo coming out to light and putting in some actual work in the world of boxing. We're excited for it. We want to see him succeed, mind you. But my gosh, we're just glad he's out. He's out and about. Seemingly both of them are really revving up to try to get in the ring and do some real work. Like I said, Jamal is doing more consistent work than Jamel. Because this will be his second time back in the ring since Jamal, or this will be Jamal's second time back in the ring. First it was, I forgot who he fought, but it was on the Cater Plant card, and then now, though it's spaced out, it's a lot more than what Jamel did, which has been nothing at all. Even with him moving back down. So it's like, yeah, we're excited for it. Can't wait to see it. Let me see. Love King, how you doing as well? Good to see you. Thank you for tuning in to the show. Charlo versus Spence is a fight I love to see. I would adore to see that fight after the fight with Tim Tszyu. After. Spence looks like he's shot. I don't want to see them fight against Charlo. I'm scared. If he looks great, I'm gonna pop. Yeah, beat him up. Because I do think he could beat Charlo. But if the questions of has he lost a step, they become validated in terms of Spence. Even a Charlo fight, I'm skeptical of. I'll be skeptical. But if he beats Tim Tszyu, that's the fight I want to see next. Don't you dare fight Ortiz. And Ortiz, don't you get in the way. Let that Spence and Charlo fight happen. Because if he beats them too, most likely, guess what that means? Mandatory was most likely up next. Or he could even butt his way into a championship opportunity outright. Simply because he Spence and he sells. It could happen. Absolutely. Yeah, Spence versus anybody as a marketable fight would absolutely work. Competitive, another conversation. Another conversation entirely. But outright, he could sell against anybody. We pay for that any way you want. Let me see. Usman Lima was IBO. He was. Wait a minute. Hold on. Time out. He was. Wait a minute. I thought Lima was ranked outside of the top 10. When he fought Boots Ennis. That was for a belt. Excuse me. That was Boots Ennis beat Lima for the interim WBA title. Looking at that from ESPN directly. He beat him. It was for the interim WBA title, excuse me. He still beat him. But it wasn't for a full-blown championship. It was for a interim title. And again, that's why he got, when that's what to some degree helped him. Because as WBA champ, put some attention to be, hey, I'm up next. Now, boom, anybody who wants it can get it, because I got the bronze key to the kingdom, per se, in so many words. But I didn't know before that if he was IBF champ before that, I'm surprised. I did not know that. That is news to me. Well, if he can do it, hey, if he can do it, then maybe we can't see Spence do it after all. Who knows? But even still, we got more people in the chat, like with Aaron, yet again, Boots needs a name. And Albuga, I see what I got what you're saying. He didn't beat him for the belt. But Lima was a champ before, and he was IBO champ. So yeah, I follow. If Lima can get a belt, then yeah, we could see Spence potentially move up, or even Tim Supermix coming. Shoot, even Charlotte. Maybe they can. There's hope for Lima. There's hope for him as well. But again, just lost to go, in my opinion. But I appreciate the clarification, absolutely. But let me see, Aaron, you say Boots needs a name. See, and this is exactly what I'm saying. This is the exact point. It's the exact point. And let me ask you this, and I can actually put out a poll. Well, will this be a poll? Yeah, you know what? I'll do this because I'm gonna put out a poll, and I'm gonna ask this question about Zayas. As you know what? Not even about Zayas. Let me think about how I'm going to do this. I got it. Here we go. We're going to put out a poll. And I'm going to ask you, does Zayas count as a name for you when it comes to Boots? And when we say name, somebody that if you saw they were on your resume, you would respect. I'm asking this for a reason. Let me put out on the poll. Is Zayas a good name for Boots Ennis to fight? We're going to put it out. And I'm asking this for a reason. We're going somewhere with this. I understand. I'm not trying to set a trap. We're going somewhere with this. I promise you. We are going somewhere with this. We put out a poll. Type it quick just to make sure it's out there. Is Zayas a good name for Boots Ennis to fight? Because that breeds the question, what would count as a good name in your book amongst the rest of the top 10 to top 15? That you would say, if Boots fought him, he gets my respect. Or he gets the stamp of, okay, he beat somebody that was legitimately good. And that's one of the wins I can hang my hat on. Even if it's not the top guy. The best of the bunch, the big kahuna. Even if it's not that, it's somebody that I can say, boom, this brother beat him. That's a validation. This cat is worth his weight in gold. And he got the reputation I can say, I should hang my hat on. If Zayas is that great, with Zayas, who else is involved in that conversation of that's a good name to fight, that I will give respect to? I want to know that. Zayas got 2 belts, why not? And again, I'm saying the same thing. I would love to see it, absolutely. Fundor, love, can you say Fundor would be a name? Fundor would be a name that if he fought Fundor, you would give respect. Okay, so we got Zayas, great name that you would respect and give your just due. Fundor, name that you would respect and would give your just due. Okay, so we can assume any of the champions would get that would get that respect. Great. Now, without Zayas and Fundor, this is where stuff gets a little bit more tricky. Not from the perspective of just name value, because everybody would say Spence, and I understand. But in terms of if he stepped in the ring with this brother, he gets my respect. If it's not, again, Fundora and or Thurman, or Zayas, because that's three names. All of them can or do have a belt. Without the belt, because he might not get a championship, but he might not fight for a title next. What name would you want him to fight beyond just big time cachet that you would say, Boots, I respect you for that win, because that's a real dog. That's a real dog. Because there is a world where he might not get a championship fight next. There's a world. There is a world. Like I said, some of y'all say, why would Zayas risk it? Zayas could go through and do what y'all say in terms of, I'm not ready for that fight yet. That's too big of a risk. I'm going to go elsewhere. And I'm not going to take the fight. That could happen. So, what's next? And I can even go through, again, Aaron, mind you, Aaron, without the belts, mind you, we established and covered any of the champions at 154, we're cool with. He gets the respect. He gets the accolades. That's a great win. That's a hang your hat on the coat rack type of win. Nothing can be said against it. Any champion right now, we get. I'm talking about without champions. Without a championship, excuse me. Amongst still that top 10, who would you give respect to if Boots fought? Get Fondora's out the picture of this specific question. Thurman, for the sake of argument, because he's fighting for a belt, out the question right now. And Zayas is out the question because Zayas, again, is a champion. So those three gone. Would you give respect if he beat Boachuk? Would you give respect if he beat the? In fact, I can even bring up the list of names to go through. So I saw my light flicker for a second. I thought I saw my light flicker for a minute. I got a little paranoid there for a minute. I thought it was gonna be a hard film. Oh Lord! But that's the question, because I want to know. I want to know from the public's view where exactly Boots has leeway to move if the biggest things that we want to happen don't happen, whether in or out of his control. That's why I asked this question, because again, Fundora, Ortiz, which again he tried to make, didn't happen. Zayas, Josh Kelly. 4 people that got the belts right now. Or rather, Fundora, Zayas, Kelly. It's where all the belts are coagulated. Beyond them, who would you give respect for Boots to fight that you would say, yeah, that's a good win in my eyes? That's the question I'm trying to ask you. Let me see. I think Zayas would fight Boots. I don't see a world where his handlers let him get. I think Zayas will fight Boots. I don't see any world where his handlers let him get in there with Boots at this point. There is just no reason to make the fight from their side. I mean, I see exactly where you're coming from. You just became unified. You are riding high on the largest wave of your career. Why would you put that against somebody who most likely, well, from what we see now, would beat you? I get it. I do get it. And it's like, I dare say he could even try to go after Josh Kelly if he wants to keep on going after championships and unify over there. I dare say go over and take his belt against Kelly over in his home country. If you can. I would like to take that route. I'm just thinking that Zayas sees the dollar signs and the upside of, if I get this win, it would be spectacular. To the point that he would force this fight to happen, even against the judgment of manager and or promoter. Because I think he's built like that. If he ain't going after Josh Kelly or Fundora, He's going after Boots and or Ortiz. Don't forget, we could see an opportunity where Zayas fights Ortiz. And see, Aaron, I brought it up as well. Josh Kelly, another name that we could see that could fight in the world against Boots or even Zayas. For both of them, Zayas is a valid route to take. And for Zayas, both of them are valid branching paths that he can go down. All of which lead to the same goal, being the most accomplished fighter in the division, but just different ways of going about it. Josh Kelly would seem like the easier route to take if we saw Zayas go and say, okay, we're still going to go and push the envelope. I would assume the public would think that's the easier fight to take. But it's not the most marketable, or rather the most money-driven fight that you can make. So it's kind of a pick 22. Again, Zayas is in a perfect opportunity. Like, you can't really lose taking either or chance. Because if you beat, most likely we're going to see him beat Kelly. Kelly, he takes his belt, becomes three belt unified champion. You control the majority of the division now. So, like, the ball is literally in your court. The very same thing we talk about with Devin Haney. When he was running the table at 147 and looking to run the table now at 154 as having the most belts out of everybody else around him, he's got power. That power. Do you go for the power? Or do you go for the risk? Both are risk, but the risk would breed you bigger ripple effects than even the power that a three-belt unification would get. Again, ultimately, yeah, it would in the long run. If he keeps the belts and then Boots gets to fight him, okay, but it only bolsters the payday. But we could see him want to be great now. Again, he could be like other champions. They were like, hey, Brian Owen Jr. at 24 years old was already saying, yo, give me Devin Haney now. I don't care if you think I'm not ready. Give me him now. I want that work. We could see Zayas think that same way. Let me see. Boots destroyed Xander not so long ago. Everyone was saying Xander was easy champ at 154. And Aaron, you say Kelly can box. He can box now. I'm not saying he can't box. I'm not saying he can't box. If anything, this is partially the other reason why I'm saying Boots would fight Zayas next. Because the other option that most likely would happen would be Boots versus Josh Kelly. However, the caveat to that, stylistically, does Boots want to deal with another version of Sugar John? Again, does he want to deal with another version of Sugar John? Not from the perspective of they fight the same way outright, but the same stylistic matchup. Mover, outboxer, fleet-footed, quick hands, who just survived the power of the boogeyman of this division in Bakram Murtazali, even knocked him down and got knocked down in his own way and still was able to go and finish the fight and take the belt away. Do you want to deal with that again? If that's the style or a semblance of the style that has given you so much trouble before at 147 and now at 154. Mind you, all of Boots' best performances have been against people that are flat-footed, willing to fight. Even if they try to fight at range, they ain't got that level of great footwork. Oh my gosh, he's a trickster and a slickster. Kelly can do that. And I don't know, especially with the high that we've seen Boots be on now, as everybody at least has heard his name because of the drama with Ortiz. Do you want to risk that and then fall flat on a performance, even in a win, that has people saying, maybe this guy really wasn't all that.
Hey, look at this. We got some problems here.
Maybe this guy wasn't all that. Maybe he wasn't all that in the bag of chips that we thought. Because even though he won, Josh Kelly gave him a time that we thought that was supposed to be easy work for the majority of the populace. So I don't know if he wants to do that. Again, in my opinion, that's why. Also, that's the part. Another part of the reason why I think he would go after. He would go after the likes of Zayas even over Kelly. Kelly absolutely would seem like the easier win if you want to look at the notion from the public. People most likely would have Zayas as a. We want to go betting odds. You want to talk about the odds makers. Let's go gambling. Please don't. And if you do, please gamble responsibly. But if you go that route, I could almost guarantee Zayas would not be nearly as a underdog to the people putting money on this fight as we would see Josh Kelly if they both fought Boots. But Kelly fits the mold of somebody that could get the upset even more fervent. Because how he fights, we've seen Boots struggle against that before. So it's just interesting to think about. But let me see. Thanks for the Haney example. Belts, they do. Be clear. I'm never saying the belts don't mean anything. Even with the diet, again, they're under scrutiny, and they deserve to be. Be clear about that. Be clear about that. No, they deserve to be. Don't let nothing I say go to waste when I'm telling you this right now. They deserve to be under scrutiny for how they've been moving. They do. However, it doesn't negate the power that they have. And if we don't recognize you still hold the weight of the division in your hands, when you can get a majority of the belts around your waist, we can't let that is never going to not mean something. It never will. That's why Devin Haney is where he is. You can say that he's boring. You can say that the brother isn't entertaining. You can say you don't want to pay for him. Guess what? It don't matter because the division still runs through him. It still runs through him. Regardless of what. And we about to go to Ryan Garcia right now. I'm about to say the last point about this whole Boots, Zayas, Kelly situation. Then we're going to jump into Devin Haney and Garcia. But regardless of all this, regardless of it all, how do you feel about Devin Haney? Or anybody else for that matter in the position of power in boxing? Most of the time, it's because of either their name is transcending their division or they have every belt in the division or majority. No matter what you think you can do, you still answer to their whims in some regard because they are the bar. Even if you think it's undeserved. They have the belts that give him that power. So we can never neglect that. Let me see. Kelly running circles is gonna get him the win. And let me tell you, Burr, you might be right. Hey man, Burr, you might be. And I'm gonna tell you this. You know what? Because if you have the power to knock down stinking Bakra, you have enough power to make Boots respect you. Even if it's an off-balance shot. If you were able to put Bakram down, knowing who Bakram is, not saying he's the greatest technician in the land. Lord knows he's not. But as a brick wall of a person, to put him down, you have to respect that. And to take his shots and still survive, you got to respect that too. And if it gets to a point where, again, it looks just like what we saw with Sugar John, but then instead of staying in the fire, like Sugar John did in the second fight, he moves around a whole lot more, like Sugar John in the first fight, it might get a little more sketchy than you may think. That fight might not, though it may seem like the more given win for Boots, guarantee you that we talk about X factors with Madrimov. That can be that can be a whole nother one. That can be an entire other X factor that can get really dangerous really quickly for Boots Ennis. Simply because that style. That style something to do. Let me see. Deal with the style to get the back. Yeah, I'm saying he should. I'm just saying I just don't think he will at first. If it's the only fight that can be made, yeah, sure, he'll take it. Eddie Hearn's going to get Boots a championship one way or another. Or at least put him in a position to get it. Somehow, some way, it's going to happen. But if I was to look at Boots and say, of the two evils, which is lesser? For boots, I would say Kelly because of the style. But no, you're absolutely right. Go through the style to get the best. I don't care how they fight. You got to beat them regardless. That's a given. I don't care how you fight. I don't care what you do. You got to fight regardless. You have to fight regardless. It's just the point being, knowing how this boxing business is a business, do you risk going through the harder potential road, if you're Boots, over the more easy but bigger marketed road of Zayas? Because if Boots lost now, or if he struggled now, versus if he struggled down the line, the established reputation might not have the same foundational rigidness necessary to withstand bad performances. Might not. It truly might not. We've seen it with Devin, Haney. We've seen it with Ryan Garcia. And they got stardom out the wazoo, especially Ryan Garcia. But when they wavered, shook up immensely. But because of how their career had been before that, people can hang their hat on, okay, hey, he did this. Okay. We're mad, but we can't throw you away because you've built up this reputation. But if Boots loses now or struggles at this point, his reputation, as sky high as it is, still volatile. The cement hasn't solidified. But I think a win against Zayas would be the thing that solidifies it. So that if he struggled against a Josh Kelly after the blow, not saying he's going to lose, but if he struggled in the same way he did against Sugar John, the blow wouldn't be as drastic. It wouldn't leave as much of an indention on the reputation of Boots Ennis. Which is why I think from a business sense, again, Zayas would be the guy I would say that he would go and fight first. Let me see. Buck Farmer, what's going on with you? How you doing? Welcome back, champ. Appreciate you on the stream. We're so happy and you're joining with us on today. It is the championship rounds. We're here having ourselves a great time on this night edition of the Watch Report. We appreciate you all being here. Again, keep on liking the stream. Keep on sharing the show. Keep on subscribing. And hey, if you want to support the channel, wink, wink, nudge, nudge, shameless plug. We got Cash App. Oh, we got PayPal. We got links down below in the description, as well as super chats and gifts and stickers and all of the like. If you can support the channel, it'll mean the world to me. Help us pay the bills. Help us to make the show better for you, the viewer and listeners all across the globe. No question about it. Absolutely. But let me see what you got to say on today. What's good, twin? Don't mind me. I'm just here watching and conversing. My power, even like myself. Anyway, see, you're getting too high. You're getting too high on your horse now. Don't forget, you can still come back. You can still come back. And they're saying, hey, look, if you want to talk like that, I would love to see this God fight against David Ennis. Hey, if you want to, you beat him? You beat him? What's already beat Canelo? All right. I can call you Lord Beers now. Started to sound a little bit like Floyd there for a little bit, trying to but Crawford hit the chat. But it's all jokes. We just having fun on the show. But let me keep on reading. Devin Haney has a good brand based off of love, and hey, he does. Like I said, that foundational structure. It's combined, but it works nonetheless. Boots needs to fight more often to build a legacy. He's not fighting enough to catch the eyes of boxing fans, and to a degree, that's a lot of people. Sadly, that's a lot of people. I mean, even we've seen other commentators talk about this. We've seen other boxers talk about this. We've seen fans and promoters talk about it. Well, maybe not promoters, but we've seen a vast majority of the public just say, hey, we don't see people fighting enough. Mind you, Inoue fought 4 times. Excuse me, I almost got tongue-tied for a second. Inoue fought 4 times, and everybody was thinking this man was making history. Now, he was making history. He broke Larry Holmes' record for most ring and lineal title defenses in 1 year. He also broke the record for, I think, one of the most championships beaten straight in his career, which has been 25. But somewhere along that line, 25 fights have been championship fights, either defending or taking a belt. Insane. I think that was the record as well. But regardless to which, he went through and only fought 4 times. Mind you, Tyson fought 19 times when he was 19, 20 years old, up to get in the championship. Sugar Robinson would fight 7 times a year. George Foreman, in his return fight, I think he had a collective of like 20 fights, 20 or 15 fights before even getting to even the Holyfield. And mind you, he fought away the Holyfield like 43? And he returned to the sport at like 39. And he had about 20 fights in between his return in Holyfield. Almost could have fought Riddick Bowe. Could have fought Riddick Bowe. If I'm being completely honest. We're looking like this is just a sport-wide issue. Crawford only fights 1 time a year. Crawford fought 1 time a year. Canelo fights twice a year on average. Ryan Garcia is trying to fight twice a year. We're getting Keyshawn Davis. He said he wants to fight, I think, 2 more times, which is great. We're seeing the elevation of fighters wanting to get in the ring more. Like we said way back, times are changing. But it's still got a long ways to go. We probably ain't gonna see people fighting 4 to 7 times all the time. Even anyway was saying, yo, my body's it's taking a toll. He even admitted it. But I think that 3-fight range, we're starting to get more of it. I think we're starting to get more of it. It's slow. It is slow. But I think we're starting to get there a little more firmly, which I'm excited for. Thank gosh. But you're right. He does need to fight more, and as do other boxers. Because part of the reason why people go stale in the fandom is because the legacy isn't sustainable. We see LeBron every other week, KD every other week, Shohei Ohtani, we hear about him every single, because they play 100-something games. We understand that. Different connotation. But the branding is still similar. We see you all the time, hence we know you all the time. You want it to stay, you want it when they're young, and then when they're old, keep a semblance of that. But oftentimes they don't. But hopefully we're seeing that rise up, and I think we are even more. Let me see. Burr, I think the Kelly fight is still happening though. After that deal with Top Rank, I can see it. I follow the logic that you're saying, Del. Kelly is a harder fight to me. Thank you. See, thank you. You get it, Aaron. Kelly is a harder fight. Xander, Boots' best fights. Ramon Villa, David Avenesian, Lima, who came forward and he countered the Kingdom Come before knocking him out. That's just the 3 most recent ones. Every other flat-footed fighter is Boots' best friend. These boots were made for not walking, plotting. That's what Boots wants if you're in the ring with him. A plotter. That's the best person you can fight. That's partially why I'm thinking he's going to beat Boots, or he's going to beat Ortiz when they do fight. That's the most dangerous front-facing fighter we can see Boots go up against. But let's be clear, that's the perfect style that Boots wants to get in the ring with. Somebody that wants to go and get in the fight. Somebody that wants to go and be aggressive. Be the first to attack. Be the first one to show their power and attack the body and or head. Apply the pressure. Try to corner me. Try to put your emphasis on pain in your game against me. And I guarantee you, I'm going to move everywhere I need to. And just do whatever I want. Because I don't have to, I still have to set stuff up. But if we're dealing with, I got to react to what you're doing, that's exactly where Boots wants to be. I want to react to whatever you try to do. I can be the reactor. I can be the first to attack. We know that Boots is one of the best at a multiplicity of styles, no question. We saw rumors that he beat up Hernandez, light heavyweight. Or middleweight, excuse me. But we were saying was one of the biggest young, rather not young, but up and coming destructive forces in the middleweight division. Per the boxing boys, who they said they have reports, Boots put the brakes on them when they were all training with Canelo to get Canelo ready for Crawford. But he loves come forward fighters that want to stay in his space. He's got that type of power. It's translative. It's transcendent. He can be a transcendent fighter. But what he looks best at, somebody that says, come on, how about you? Let's see what you got, brother. Hey, put your dukes up and let's go toe-to-toe in the center of the ring. Blood and guts are plenty. The world is watching. The crowd is cheering. We got to give them a show. Let's show them what we do. That type of thinking in a fighter is exactly what he wants, a warrior. I'm not diminishing. I'm not trashing fighters that think like that. We want fighters to think like that. Be clear. I'm saying for Boots, any fighter that thinks like that, like a gladiator, and fights like one, that's exactly where he wants you to be. Because then he can physically outclass you in every way. Speed, power, and straight up reaction time. And if he's doing that, that's easy work for him. But if you got to move, if he's got to catch you, or if he's got to think more than he wants to, he can think. But if he's got to think more than he wants to, he gets frustrated. At least track record shown. He gets frustrated. So it's a hard fight. I'm telling you, it is a really hard fight. Boots can't take an L. He's not loved like Ryan Garcia. Well, I don't know. Is Ryan Garcia loved? Hold on now. Wait a minute. Hold on. Hold on now. Hold on. Is he loved? Is he loved? Wait a minute. Hold on. Wait a minute. Is Ryan Garcia loved? Or is he hated? I'm confused. I say that because the sentiments flipped about 6 or 5 times. So I'm like, I don't know. I don't know. I can't say for certain. I don't know what this one is on. People, we want to see him fight. We're excited, but then outside the ring, good God, she's holding the can of worms, and everybody's saying what the way. It's a movie. You hear the THX sound system test every time he gets ready to fight, because of the fact that you hear everybody yelling and screaming, one side or the other. As much as we say Devin Haney's beloved and hated, which he is, Ryan Garcia's on that same boat. It may not be to the same severity. Because again, the pretty face, the followers, all that stuff, which again is a blessing in its own right for him. But him popping dirty ain't going away. Him popping dirty ain't gonna leave. Him going on that tirade on social media, not about the protect the kids thing. I'm talking about like the calling people the N-word. Some of what was deemed rightfully so, it's racist rhetoric. That ain't going away. In a lot of people's eyes, I don't know if he's loved more than Devin Haney. I think people like to watch him fight more. But I don't know if he's loved more than Devin Haney. The biggest criticism about Devin Haney is that he's boring for a lot of people. But as a person, people ain't saying much about him. Outside of he's a diva. Maybe, but even if you want to call somebody a diva, Ryan Garcia is Exhibit A. From what we have seen over the course of the past couple of years. Be clear, I'm not throwing arrows. I'm not throwing disrespect. We're just talking the truth. What we've seen between 2024 and now. It's been a roller coaster of the worst and best lights. So I don't know if he's loved. That's man, we think that conversation, or at least have a better conversation later on. That might be a topic for Thursday. I'm not gonna lie. Who's more hated? Ryan Garcia. You know what? Put a pin in it. In fact, I'm gonna put that in my notes right now. We're gonna put that in my notes today. Who's more hated? Ryan Garcia or Devin Haney as a fighter in the world of boxing? And from a fan, we're gonna put that in my notes right now for you. But let me go. But before I continue, let me go and read the chat, because y'all still here chatting and responding. Well, hold on, that's the wrong sound. I ain't scared of y'all being here. I'm excited that y'all here. I love you. I'm glad that you're here. With still trolling. What's good with you? Thank you for tuning in. Appreciate you being on the show. I like this guy. Good work. Well, hey, look, I appreciate it. Hey, man, you're too kind. You're too kind. You're too kind. Like I said, you all make this show. You all make it incredible. I'm here to entertain. I'm trying to do this as a job, trying to be my career, and we're supported by viewers like you. So hey, if you want to be a part of the show, subscribe to the channel. Come on, be a part of the empire. Share the show with the public around the globe. We talk about boxing and beyond in the sports zeitgeist with the NBA, with the NFL. Speaking of which, the NBA is about to hit the playoffs in a couple of months, so get ready for that. Lord knows the West is tightening up in a very hotly contested race in the East. Biggest story right now is the Hornets. Can they make the playoffs? On top of with Bam on the bow in Miami, again with the 83-point performance. My God, still insane that it happened. Well, can they make a last-ditch effort to make a run for the play-in in the Eastern Conference and so much more? We can talk about it all with you because, like I said, it is still the championship rounds. But we still want to get your thoughts and opinions. We're glad that you enjoyed the show, and hopefully you'll keep on sticking around. Because, hey, we love you, we appreciate you, and we want you to come in and still be great on all of our escapades right here on the Welch Report as we continue to flourish and sign together. No question about it. Let me see. Welch, let's not act like Kelly had a dominating performance, though. He also got dropped and kept slipping like a fool. No, he did. No, I didn't forget that. I even acknowledged that he got caught and he got dropped. No, he did. However, it's the fact that the good that he did do works against Boots because it worked before. Now, with Boots getting better, how much will it work now? We're going to find out. But the makeup, similar to Majimov, has the ingredients. It's not guaranteed, but the ingredients in the recipe for success against Boots. Kelly has some of that in his game. So it could be more demonstrative of a challenge than people may expect to see. Absolutely. Let's see. I feel you. I can't stand. That's another conversation for another day. People say Devin Haney more than I'm assuming you're saying more than Ryan. Like I said, I think that's a very good conversation for our normal schedule program of 12:30 in the afternoon Thursday. Because I expect to be on this late. Because like I said, it's civic duty. Had to do it. But even still, we go. Oh, speaking of which, we can't forget also, we got to transition over. Wait a minute. Hold on. We got to transition over. Hold on. Yes, sir. We got to transition to the next topic of discussion, which is the one of Ryan Garcia and Devin Haney. Hey, we had a comment way earlier, way back earlier in the show made by Ramon Vasquez that talked about the conversation of Devin Haney and Ryan Garcia. The question is, can Devin Haney beat Ryan Garcia in their rematch if they do fight against each other? And this was the chat that came up that was very intriguing. Chat was, it's not a technical fight, it's a mental fight for Ryan versus Haney. And that couldn't be more of the truth. That couldn't be more of the truth. That is absolutely right. There is an understanding that we need to look at from the perspective of Devin Haney and Ryan Garcia. In fact, while I'm talking, I'll actually go through and I'll change I will go. Yo, I got it right now. Never mind. I got it pre-selected. Never mind. We can change it right now. With Devin Haney and Ryan Garcia, if, again, mind you, we're looking at down the line, Haney's looking to fight Rolly. Confirmed. Talks are closing in and it looks like it's going to happen. Okay, that be clear. That's news number one. If it gets by there and they do fight against each other, I don't think this fight is going to be how good Devin Haney has become or how much Devin Haney has come back from being potentially shot for the gunshot. A shot fighter, that's the word. When he was fighting Ryan Garcia the first time. Here's the question of now. What can you use now without the fear? Going up against Ryan Garcia, who, mind you, has gotten better. It may not be the same technical leap up to the caliber of Devin Haney to where Devin Haney got back to prime form, at least for the first half of the fight with Brian Holmes Jr. But it was a leap that made us all look at Ryan Garcia completely differently when it comes to a legitimate fighter. It did. That's the truth. I mean, that's the truth. All of a sudden, Ryan with both hands looks like the greatest thing since sliced bread. For a lot of people, Ryan with both hands all of a sudden has the world saying, wait a minute now, There's some when I say sketchy, there's some concerning elements of what this version of Ryan Garcia can bring to Devin Haney. But Devin Haney's now got the tools to be able to go and stifle it, doesn't he? He's blocking the left hook now. Is he not? Huh? He's throwing his jab more fervently now. Is he not? He's going through, and he's got power now at 154. Does he not? Did we not acknowledge that? And we did. And we did. He's not weight drained anymore. He's not struggling to get to the weight class. He looks to be Debo Dev, as everybody likes to call him. Everybody, hide your chains. Because walking down the street is a freak of nature. That's about to go through and just dominate the rest of the boxing world. Every time you look his way, everybody's saying, that's it, because everybody's scared of what's coming down at him. Isn't this the phrase that we use when it comes to Devin Haney? Not only is he Debo Dev, but the brother.
And he floats like a butterfly and hits like a tree.
That's what it looks like it's going through right now when it comes to Devin Haney. That's the propagated skills that we've seen Devin Haney garner. But can he use them? Can he use them? Not just from is he going to be allowed to use them in the fight by Ryan Garcia stylistically? But the main question that we had since that fight and now into this fight in the rematch, how's your mind? Is the psyche truly held together like it needs to be? And the concern is it may not be. The concern is it may not be as sound as we may have wanted it to be, or rather sound as we may have thought, due to the not just implication, but the straight up evidence in the second half of Haney versus Norman. When he got caught, when he got hit in the second half of the fight, even after the knockdown, he went back to that reclusive cocoon of clinch, hold, jab, and repeat. Not boxing in the normal way that we know Devin Haney can fight. But protect the lead, like we talked about with him versus Shakur. Why people look at Shakur differently now, and Devin Haney still gets hate. There's still that vulnerability, that hesitation, that mind you, in part, and I said this earlier in years past, though we've only been doing this for 2 years. Done a lot in 2 years, but still we only done it for 2 years. Bill Haney went on Showbiz the Adult, again, another phenomenal podcast. Go check, hold on, I ain't cussing them out, hold on now. I meant to push this, but see somebody say, see, don't use that in here. I'm trying to garner relationships in this, and as I'm trying to make my way through, please, no, I'm not trying to make no enemies right now. But he was on an interview with Showbiz the Adult. Great interview way back post Jose Ramirez versus Devin Haney. And Devin Haney and Bill Haney, said to Showbiz straight up, hey, I made the game plan to make my son get the easiest win possible because I didn't want him to risk anything and I didn't want him to get embarrassed. That came out of Bill Haney's mouth. He made a plan for his son to win, but the aim wasn't to win, it was not to lose. There's a difference. There's a difference in those two frames of thinking. He made a win so his son wouldn't risk getting disrespected or clowned. He made a game plan to, I don't want to call it a safety valve, but it put the idea of Devin Haney in that uber conservative mindset. Things are getting too hot. The same way he fought back against Lomachenko was what we expected to see, to make a dominating performance when he fought as the favorite against Jose Ramirez, but it didn't happen. In the same way he showed what he could do against Lomachenko, we thought he would bring that same fervor with everything tied together of, okay, you're confident again. You're using your jab in the way that you used to before. You're not scared of the punches anymore for the first half of the fight. Sustained dominance. In the vein of, this looks like Devin Haney, but it didn't happen. I'm rehashing older points because it breathes into this conversation. Mentally, Devin Haney may still have a portion of that psyche broken, or at least not completely put together. Because if he did, he wouldn't have fought like he did against Brian Norman when it came to round 7 and on. That outstanding confidence, even with him saying, I'm going to outbox you. Even with that being the understood notion, it wouldn't have looked like that. It would not have looked like that. This is, in my humble opinion, an indication of a bigger problem, that while Devin Haney has the power, has the length, has the technique, has the jab, has everything we know he's got, and stuff that we said he did, definitely got hard. He doesn't have the mind in fullness that it needs to. The rooted confidence of the risk doesn't matter to me. He'll take the risk. Absolutely. But like again, we saw it and we've seen it. It's not about just being able to, I'm not concerned with him fighting people. He's never ducking anybody. Never concerning myself with that. But when he is in the ring, we keep seeing the switch flip off. Not on. Off. We keep seeing this. We keep seeing this. Every time. Uh-oh. It's looking good. It's looking, in fact, let me get, it's looking good. It's looking good. Uh-oh. He's boxing. He's moving. Everything looks, he's jabbing great. He's ducking. He's weaving. He's doing all this stuff. Everything looks great. It looks phenomenal. But then all of a sudden, again, if the tide turns, gets his head knocked back, all of a sudden, he's still boxing. He's still sniping. He's still throwing his stuff up. Turn it off. Cut the light off. Shut down what I do best. Because what I do best right now is putting me in some trouble that I don't want to be in. That's a problem. It's a big time problem. It's an issue that if this shows up against Ryan Garcia and we see this switch, we see this switch of Ryan or of Devin Haney, I almost lost his name, Devin Haney, we see it turn off, we see it leave, we see he get caught, he get popped, all of a sudden he's in trouble. And he does the opposite of a Terrence Crawford. Where we always talk about with Terrence Crawford, he flips that switch on. We talk about with Terrence Crawford, he flips the switch on. He turns up the intensity if he gets in trouble. He unlocks everything about him and more. It goes to that 6th gear, that rare gear where you can't reach me once I elevate beyond my normal means. It's almost unfathomable. It's Olympus-like power. Untouched by common man. That's what the 6th gear involves. And you flip the switch when you need to get there. But Devin Haney is the opposite. He doesn't flip the switch on. He flips the switch off to conserve fuel. He goes into econ mode. We want to talk about cars. Efficiency, effectiveness, which, again, I don't disrespect, but at the same breath, at some points in time, you got to get up and move. You need your car to get up and go. You need that acceleration and torque to really take hold and get you out of Dodge in certain situations. Because traffic's coming. And you go into econ mode, you're going to get stuck or get hit, potentially, if you ain't quick enough to avoid oncoming traffic because you're being too cautious. Devin Haney is the opposite of Terrence Crawford because he switches off when competition or when situations start to get very much pressing. It'll start to get dangerous. Too dangerous to want to use his whole skill set on the consistent rate. And if he does that against Ryan Garcia, that will show mentally he still is locked in the mode of what happened when I got caught. And he hasn't recovered from that. And I'm telling you, you cannot switch the light off. You cannot turn your switch off if you face off against Ryan Garcia again. Because all of this progress you've made if you're Devin Haney, to be able to go through and improve, show you got better metal, show you got better power, show you got all this better stuff, and then you just lose it all. Because mentally you don't delve into the bag that you did against Lomachenko. You delve into the bag that you did against Norman and Ramirez, which was, I'm still stuck in the game plan to some degree that Bill Haney made for me when I fought against Ramirez, which was, I don't want not just to lose, but I still can't get over the risk being too great that I need to cocoon my best attributes to make sure I get the win. At least to me. If Devin Haney does that, it's going to be a problem. It's going to be a huge problem. It's going to be a major problem for him in this fight with Ryan Garcia. So mentally, he cannot have that fault, because if he does, it's going to be bad. It can get really, really bad. But let me see, we got more people in the chat, like with Frankie Z. What's going on? I already say hi to Frankie Z. And let me see. I wish the refs would punish Devin for holding. And I guarantee you, that's going to be, if I'm going to be honest, the refs should punish him for it. But I don't think it's going to work. Because it didn't work last time. And Devin Haney ain't the only other bigger guy here at 147. Ryan Garcia got stronger, healthier, and better at this division. You ain't gonna be the only one that in the clinch. Oh, yeah, I can do no. And it could be eerily similar to what happened the last time we saw you against Ryan Garcia. It could be. Where the clinch that you want to do to try to stifle the work doesn't work anymore. Could. I'm not saying, not guaranteed. I'm just saying it might not work. And he might want the refs to come through and break it up. Because if he gets in the clinch against Ryan Garcia, and a Garcia that fights with the same fervor they did in the first fight, cleanly, without PEDs, if he does it clean in this fight without PEDs, shows up and shows out with even better stamina and straight up physical capabilities, that clinch might be the worst place for Devin Haney to be in. It might be the worst place for Devin Haney to be in. It really could be. But let me see. Yo, Timmy T, what's going on with you? How you doing? Good to see you. Thank you for tuning into the show with us on today. Oh, yeah. We're happy that you're here on the ride of the What's Well. Like I said, we're here later on in the show. We had to do, essentially, we had to do our civic duty here, jury duty. So we weren't able to come here on the normal afternoons. So now I'm back. I'm home. And we're doing the show. Still going to give you the hours of entertainment that we do enjoy. Probably going to be a little bit shorter. So we're probably going to end it off a little bit sooner, because we got one more topic with David Benavidez. at heavyweight, and then we're going to probably end the show and get ready for Thursday afternoon afterwards. But again, whole show for this point in time is the championship rounds. So as long as y'all keep it going, hey, we can keep on adding hours to the show. If we can get what's the chat goal? The chat goes what 10 chats on the day of any amount. We can make it so I'll add out. I ain't got no problem with that. Absolutely, we can make it happen. We want to hear from you all. Want to hear your comments and opinions. Absolutely. Let me see. Do you believe? But Timothy, you say. Hello, salute to you. Do you believe Usyk is ducking Caballero? Yeah. So, dang it. It sounds very bad. It sounds very bad. But yes. And I hate that I'm saying it. I hate that I'm saying it.
Hey, look at this. We got the problems here.
I hate with a passion that I'm saying this. As we transition over, I hate with a passion that I'm saying this. But yeah, he is fighting Rico Verhoeven for the WBC championship, which essentially puts every other belt on the line by proxy. And yes, you're going to fight. Yes, you said you're going to fight Wardley or Dubois, depending on the winner. I'm okay with that. Yes, you're aiming for Tyson Fury in the trilogy. If he beats Makhmudov and allegedly Anthony Joshua, because it sounds like Anthony Joshua and Tyson Fury have agreed they're going to fight on Netflix. Allegedly. But we'll find out later on. Unconfirmed reports, but we'll find out as time goes on. But we said it before, Caballero deserved a shot. He still deserves his opportunity. Somebody put it on social media. I can't remember who. It might have been Max Kellerman and Mike Coppinger. But the best way I can put it, but before I say that, let me read your chat. He's willing to fight Fury again, but no Caballero. I hear you. It's definitely suspect. That's why I said I got to call it a duck, because he was mandatory for this belt. He was in position and beat everybody we said he needed to beat for this title. Or to get a shot. He did. He did his job. Just like Justin Parker did his job. But in this situation, Daniel Dubois wasn't in the equation. It was just straight up, you should have. He was there. He didn't fight him. It's a shame. It really is a shame. And we were saying Caballero was getting snubbed by Wilder initially. Now, I wish Wilder was fighting. I wish the brother was fighting now. I'm telling you, I wish he was fighting. I wish beyond contempt that the brother was fighting. I mean, it would make all the sense in the world if we saw Wilder fighting. Now, I would pay for that fight if it was Wilder versus Usyk. Even though I wouldn't pay. If this was the alternative, doggone it, you doggone right. Yeah, this is, hey, look, I'll how much you want for it? How much you want? Huh? I'll pay up to 30. I will pay up to 30 for that as the alternative. Rico Verhoeven? Yeah. Give me Wild. All right, yeah. Go ahead. Yeah. Sell out Madison Square Garden. Give me Las Vegas, Nevada. Go down to Texas. Straight up, go to Alabama Stadium. Roll Tide. Have it there. I'll be front and center. If that's the alternative to this, my gosh, man. I wish. Lord, I really wish it was. But oh, wait, hold on. Wait a minute. Everybody time out. We got paid. Wait a second. Hold up. We got paid today. Yes, sir. We done made some dough. Thank you for the $5 super chat from Frankie Z. We appreciate all the support. We appreciate the love. We appreciate the funds. And you've given alms to the empire of this community. Thank you so much. We appreciate it. We love it. We support it. And we're so happy that you're here along for the ride. Yes, indeed. And hey, if anybody wants to outgive, we can have ourselves a bottle popping session. Everybody start sending some dough. See who can outdo the other. Yeah, throw your weight around in the chat. But we appreciate it nonetheless, and we want to see what you got to say. So, Frankie Z, let me see. What was it like being on jury duty? Well, so it wasn't what I expected. Thank goodness. I thought I was going to get called in to have to go and have the life of somebody in the balance of being a juror. Thankfully, I didn't get called in to actually get questioned to see if I qualified. I got my money, I did my time, and I left. There was actually a whole bunch of people. There was a lot of people that came late. They had, vending machine was broken. We had I couldn't get no food. They had, and crazy enough, see, they had us doing orientation, talk about what to do. And then they're like, okay, you'll be back here at XYZ time. But the crazy thing was, what was supposed to be an hour break only turned into like 15 minutes for the first session. So I'm here trying to just get some coffee and use the bathroom. Next thing you know, it's 2 minutes before you about to get your name called, and you better be in the room, or else you could be, I don't know, held in contempt, get thrown in jail. Lord, I don't know. I wasn't trying to find out.
We got some problems.
I wasn't trying to find out. So we talking about flimsy open cups, a lid that was barely sitting on top of the cup. We booking it upstairs, trying to get back up there. And then they call, and essentially, if you don't get called, you waiting. Imagine it like the MLB. You got your starting pitchers, you got your rotations between innings, then you got your relievers. Now, the difference is, as relievers, we're on the bench. If they can't figure out the jury from the pool that they picked, they jumping to us now. So we like the last resort. I can't even call bottom of the barrel because everything, again, it's at random. It's at random. There's no better or worse. But we going into the bullpen and we can't find it. And Lord knows if I had gotten called and the jury didn't get picked, I would have came back the next day. And 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 the next day. If anybody's seen that episode from SpongeBob, but that would have been me. Now you get paid every day, but like I said, I couldn't be here with you all. Now I would have had to done this every day from today until I think the weekend, and then come back on Monday up until they actually pick out a full-blown jury. And then if I got picked, I would have had to sit in the courtroom for the entirety of the trial and put somebody in jail or make somebody walk scot-free by a vote of guilty or not guilty. Lord knows I'm not trying to have that responsibility, because I'm not going to lie, I do not want that on my mind. I can't handle that. I got too much going on already. Let me tell you something. I got too much going on. I got too much going on. Too much going on right now. I'm trying to get this business off the ground. Lord knows I can't handle it. I don't need somebody else's business coming in on my dossier as a thing I need to worry about. Lord, I can't have that. I can't. But outside of that, the people were nice. Environment was pretty cool. The food was, it was there. Not gonna lie, they didn't refill nothing up there. there was some, to put it into perspective, I had to break up the sugar inside of the sugar packets because it had clumped together and turned into a brick. Imagine you open up a sugar packet trying to sweeten up your pot of coffee, and it doesn't come out in sprinkles. It just comes out as a rock. Just like that, bang. Lord, I was like, wait a minute. Do I need to drink this? Is this going to put me under for when if I get called? Like, so, but outside of that, it was pretty good. People were nice. Some people didn't talk. Some people did. If you did talk to people, you got an amalgamation of characters. You know, it would have been better if the vending machine wasn't broken. Probably would have had some more not hangry people. But like I said, there was a couple where they had some fun. They had some fun. They did have some fun. I'm not gonna lie, but it wasn't a bad experience. I wouldn't want to do it again. But if I did, hey, you get paid by the day. So I'm not complaining, but it is to some degree an inconvenience. But we gotta do it regardless. So hey, over here in the States, if you viewing abroad, that's what we gotta do. Gotta serve the court. So, but I ain't gotta do it for another 2 years. So hey ho, we out scot-free, baby. We out scot-free, baby. Come on. We're moving through. We made it past. And we ain't okay. I got at least 2 years where I ain't got to do this again. So y'all got me for however long. Unless an emergency happens. Y'all got me for however long. And so I'm happy for it. No question about it. But real quick, hopefully they answer your questions about the experience of jury duty. Hopefully I made it entertaining as possible. We also got to see some movies there as well. Crazy enough, you had to pay for snacks to get the movies to play. I didn't know that. I thought they were giving away stuff. No, we had to pay for stuff in order for them to get the ability to play the movie. I don't know how it works. I would assume the court would have a fund or a library, or at least Netflix, to have it so you can just watch stuff on in without even post. But you know what? That's not me. Hold on to the conversation. I'm not getting into it because I'm out of it now. We got to talk about one more thing before we get out of here on this show. However, with respects to Frankie Z's chat, which is David Benavidez and conversation around him and the heavyweight regime. Yes, indeed. If you didn't get to see, as again, we're switching gears as we switch gears into the rest of the world of boxing. We're going to make this a little bit quick because I'm not going to lie, it is getting a little bit late in the night. And some of y'all, I don't blame you, already logging off and getting ready for bed. I get it because you got to work in the morning. But Benavidez had the opportunity to spar if I can find a picture. Benavidez had the opportunity to spar with a heavyweight over the course of his tenure, prepping for his fight. I think it was Zurdo Ramirez, or it might have been for a different training camp, but regardless of which, he was able, from the looks of it, to put a real hurt on the likes of his opposition. I'm gonna see if I can find a picture of it on social media. I thought I had it saved. If I don't, I do apologize. I'm about to go and pick it up right now because it's similar to what we had seen with Boots and Canelo when they had fought against each other. And we saw apparently Boots put a real hurt on his opposition. Here we go. I can show it to you right here, right now. As we have the picture up, let me go and switch over to the world of picture real quick as we're going through. I'll see your chats. I'm still going through. I'm still about to go and respond to it right now. Give me 1 second to pull up this picture for the public to recognize and see. There we go. Okay, I got it pinned up. So let me read your chats and then I'll go through and I'll read it. Let me see. A Buck Whopper, John, you number one boxing source. Never forget that. I come to you because you know all full details of the fight. Look, I appreciate it. Like I said, I only know what I know. I can't say I'm the best amongst the rest. I'm just doing the best I can, and I'm glad that you value my opinion. And like I said, I may not be right or wrong on all accounts, but I will give you the best that I can give you on every single accord if I can. So I appreciate the love and I appreciate the support, no question about it. And then we're going to keep it going with the facts, or at least as much with the facts and entertainment as possible, as we have right now. Talk about him at heavyweight. Look at what David Benavidez was able to do against the likes of Lorenzo Medina after what looks to be a most recent sparring session between them two as Benavidez gets ready for Zurdo Ramirez. And let me tell you something right now. The eyes do not lie when it comes to Benavidez. It doesn't lie, boy. I'm telling you, man. This is some bad news. This is some bad news. Mind you, I believe this was Medina with headgear, looking legitimately like he was getting in the midst of a 10-round fight, and he was starting to get the better, the better of him was starting to get to him from his opposition if it was an actual fight. I don't bring up this picture just to be, oh my goodness, shock and all. Hot take. This Medina's a full-fledged heavyweight, a legitimate heavyweight. I want you to understand, for anybody below 175 to do this to a heavyweight, ridiculous. Anybody at 168 that came from 168 that's doing this to heavyweights, preposterous. This almost confirms my fear about Dave Benavidez as a fighter when it comes to what he's going to be able to do. And that fear is Dave Benavidez, when he gets up to heavyweight, unless he gets knocked out, I say this in all totality, unless he gets knocked out with the old regime of heavyweights getting ready to leave the door. If it ain't Usyk, if it ain't Moses Atalma, and off the speculation that they'll still be around when he gets up there, if it ain't Anthony Joshua or Tyson Fury, Benavidez might just whoop Zerto, and then afterwards, but a heavyweight, he may just belong there perfectly fine. He may just belong at heavyweight and not have an issue at all. Mind you, Medina, as a heavyweight, I want you to put this into account. Lorenzo Medina. Lorenzo Medina at heavyweight weighs 235 to 254. At his heaviest, he's 254. At his heaviest, he's 254. Mind you, AJ came in at 250. Usyk came in at 222, 223. Wilder came in at 219, 215 on his best days in his career. Jermaine Franklin is about 230, 240. Big Baby Miller, 300 on average, 290. Caballero, what is he, 240? How much is Ajit weigh? Ajit, yeah, 240, 241. Just about on the dot. At least in his last fight that he was in against Big Bang Jang. That's the heaviest he's been, I believe. In terms of Caballero. Daniel Dubois, I think it's 230. Now, I'm not putting Medina on those caliber heavyweights. Be clear, I'm not. But if he's able to actually do damage, real damage, to people that are up here at 200 plus, straight, no weight limit. Mind you, Medina probably in sparring, probably pushing 260, 265. And he's still hurting him. That's not damage, just swelling. That's hurt. I'm starting to think heavyweight is not that much of a impossible task for Dave Benavidez. I'm starting to think. I'm really starting to think. That right there. It's not about the caliber of opponent. We're not comparing the caliber. The question was, for anybody, even on the lower tier of competition when it came to David Benavidez, could you even be able to damage them in any regard when bludgeoning force was your biggest threat and attribute as a boxer up until this point? And I think the fact that he can do it, for real do it. Yeah, it's sparring. That's what makes it more incredible. It's sparring. They're going easy. Or at least they're training on specific things, and they're not even pushing themselves to the limit. Benavidez ain't got a scar on his face or swelling. We see Medina look like it's at round 6. And again, he's lost between round 2 and round 5. And he's starting to go to, I need a knockout to win, because your face is expressing the momentum of the fight. That type of thing. I'm not saying The talent is the same. But I'm saying that picture, this picture, that ain't the picture. Hold on. This picture and this damage, that is not something that's just abnormal. Or rather, that's not something that is neither common nor unimpressive. For somebody started at 168, even with us saying he was too big for the division. This wasn't able to do this in the same degree against Gvozdy when he first started. I'm like, y'all better keep an eye out, man. Y'all better keep an eye out. This is not a fluke of a performance. That ain't a fluke. There's some danger. There's some dangerous danger that Benavidez, he might be just fine at 200 plus beyond heavyweight or heavyweight beyond. If again, Usyk, Fury, AJ, understand. Below that caliber though, might have a little more confidence he can more than hold his own. He might be able to actually win. Shoot, man, that would be insane. I love Benny, but I don't know. Heavyweight is a whole different ballgame. It is. And if it, again, evidence, mind you, we know how he trains in sparring. He's one of the few people that we can attest to say, okay, sparring for him does tell a real story about what we should expect from him in the actual fight. The Benavidez is one of the hardest workers in the gym, straight up. And in sparring, someone takes the James Toney route. Not just from the semblance of, I'm sparring all the time, but we going out. For real, we going all out. At least as much as we can within safety. And if we push the envelope, well. And that, at minimum, if you want to say this isn't a sign that he can compete at heavyweight, probably fine. And I'll Booger, like you say, let's let him clean out cruiserweight before thinking about heavyweight. I'm with you there. If he can do this to somebody that is bigger, and by proxy, most likely more durable than Zurdo Ramirez, though we're not comparing the skill, this gives me a sign that what we saw with Anthony Yard, from the perspective of continuing the regained ability to bludgeon and break the face and beat up the body of the opponent, he can do it against Zurdo. I'm not saying, no, forget that. I am saying he can do that against Zurdo. He can. And I think, and if this happens, boy, it's going to be a shot. But I think with that was the final piece of evidence I needed to see what type of performance I could see from Benavidez against Zurdo. If you can bruise a heavyweight, you can swell up a cruiserweight. You can get a fight stopped against a cruiserweight. If you can cut him in two places, I don't care if he is fair-skinned. If you can bruise him around the eye for a heavyweight, you can close the eye of a cruiserweight. If you can bruise the face of a heavyweight, you can again blow out the face of a cruiserweight. I strongly believe it. And Benavidez, I think I'm starting to lean more and more. He's gonna beat Zurdo. I'm starting to lean. Not even start. I'll say it straight up. I think it's gonna be Zurdo. I think it's gonna be Zurdo Ramirez. I think he's gonna do it.
Hey, look at this. We got some problems here.
I think he's gonna do it.
We got some problems here.
I think he's gonna do it. I think it's gonna beat him. That type of damage, again, for me, it's carryover from what he had against Anthony Yard. A weight class above. And still be able to bruise and cut up people. Or bruise people at minimum. heavyweights admin, which is not easy to do when you're a lighter weight class. Starting out again at 168. He can mess up Zerto. And I think he's gonna beat him. I'm saying it now. I think he beats Zerto Ramirez. I really do. Let me see. Any top 10, maybe top 20 would smash Benavidez. I don't know if I can say that for sure. Because we've talked about how skills pay the bills when it comes to boxing. Let's put it to a test. Does he beat Richard Torres?
Hey, look at this. We got some problems here.
Let's put it to a test.
We got some problems here.
Does he beat Richard Torres? If you had them both in the ring, does Benavidez beat Richard Torres right now? Or if he beats Zerto, would you pick him to beat Richard Torres? Either one. We'll start with the former. Right now, do you pick him over Richard Torres? You say, yeah, I got him beating Zerto, possibly by unanimous decision. Fine. Absolutely. If you see him wash Zerto Ramirez, or even just straight up win by unanimous decision in Benavidez, would you then pick him over Richard Torres? It's a valid question. Because if he's nearly that good, that if he wins at cruiserweight, again, against Zerto, it would be fair to assume he's above top 10 caliber. Or at least around top 10 caliber. Because I think he's better than Richard Torres right now. The stamina, or rather the engine of Torres to give him some trouble. But if he was a heavyweight today, I'd be scared for my life. But he's a better fighter and boxer. You can be a good fighter, not a great boxer, and vice versa. He's both. And he's better than Torres. His boxing skill can overcome what Torres has in power and strength. It can. It absolutely can. Jaron Anderson. Would you pick him over Jaron Anderson? Right now. They're both about the same height. He's bigger than Richard Torres, or at least he's about the same height as Richard Torres, 6'2". About the same height as Jaron Anderson. We've seen who he lost against and struggled against. Struggled against Frank Martin. Got knocked out against Martin McCauley. Subsequently afterwards had a somewhat bounce back but still lackluster performance in his latest ring card return. Let me see who was against real quick. Who was his last fight? His last fight was against... That was not his last fight. His last fight was not Martin McCauley. Who the world? Hold on a second. No, it is Mario Colias. Mario Colias, which we watched. He got better, but then he went back to some of the same stuff. He was like, we're not impressed. I could see he's better than Big Baby Anderson. Emerson Torres will put hands on Benavidez. I don't think so. I don't think so. Because Torres right now, against a litany of boxers currently, where his stable of competition is, none of them are better than Benavidez as a fighter. And he should have been able to maul them in ways that would have us talking about him in the same breath as Moses Town. But they don't. The performances have been lackluster against opponents that were set up. Okay, you should look pretty good against him or put him out Straight up. And for me, I have more questions than praise. There's still praise. Especially now that he's training with Bomac. Oh, I'm excited for this. This iteration of Torres' next return against Frank Sanchez. Oh, I'm excited for that. I want to see with Bomac in his corner. I want to see what this time is going to look like. Because I think this is where, I can't remember how long Bomac's been in there, but again, I've seen improvements. Though there's still some questions. This should be the fight that takes that leap of complete validation from me. If he's able to beat Sanchez, that's a stark opponent. But at this point in time, you put him in the ring with Benavidez, I don't think Richard Torres beats him. He's a silver Olympian. Great. He's the only other face in American boxing that we got to even offer right now as a competitive standpoint in championship status. No, absolutely. He's not better than David Benavidez. He can. I'm going to use exactly what y'all said not against me, but when we talk about the fights, skills pay these bills. And we've seen Benavidez without power be able to skillfully mop the floor with just about every competition that he's been up against. Strictly by his boxing. Not even with the power being the biggest attribute. Strictly by boxing. He can do the same thing to Torres. He can do the same thing to Jaron Ennis. Shoot, I'll go down the list of fighters I think he could be. I will go down to where's my champions rankings in reference to the world of boxing as a whole. We go down the list of the most fervent challenge. I'm trying to find the challenge. Hold on. Looking for the challenges. Looking for the tops that are ranked right now. Then come on, computer. Come on. Go. We roll. Don't mess up me now. Don't mess up me now. Okay. If you, again, he doesn't have to be within that top 10 caliber fighters. Sure, absolutely. No problem. At the start. Richard Torres is not within the top 10 threshold. And that down, yeah, that can be done. It's fair game. But do you want to say, who's the brother? Who's the other brother that clinches and holds? Who's the other dude that clinches and holds in that just moved up to heavyweight? That I can't stand watching him fight. I mean, I hate it with a passion watching that brother fight. What is his name? What's his name? It's not a very Jogba. It's not Daniel Dubois. He's a black brother. What the? Black brother, champion at cruiserweight. Here's frustrating me now. He clinches all the time. He looked horrible at heavyweight in his debut. Even though it was for an interim title. What was his name? Well, he trained Jake Paul, preparing for Anthony Joshua. Trained Jake Paul. Who was it? Lawrence Okoli. That's what it was. That's what I'm thinking of. That's the brother. That's the Lawrence Okoli. That's who I was thinking. Lawrence Okoli. I hate watching him fight. Would he beat Dave Benavidez? Knowing Benavidez can get up to 215. Around the same weight as Deontay Wilder. I'll say that. I'd say yeah. I'd say, and it'd be hard. I'd be hard pressed for somebody to say that he couldn't beat Lawrence Okoli. When straight up skill for skill. Even with activity. That's why I strongly believe that when we're talking about Benavidez, he is able to overcome a lot of the perceived weight differential and the gap because of his actual talent, which by most people, myself included, is above a lot of the heavyweight division and can help him compete with the top 10 as of right now. And especially depending on how he looks against Zerto Ramirez, it can validate that, yeah, okay. Yeah, okay, he's the truth like no other. He's the truth like no other. At least when I'm looking at it, when I'm talking about these fights, let me see what you all got to say still. We still want to read your chats and responses. Let me see. There's a reason hardly any 168 fighters in heavyweight or in history have moved at the heavyweight. Yeah, no, you're right. Absolutely. You are right about that. You're right about that. But it's not impossible. It's not impossible. It's not impossible. Mind you, to put this into perspective, Sam Langford was 5'6". And I think he was, what was his win record? In the heavyweight era of boxing, Sam Langford, I believe, was 5'6". And his record was, if I have my stats correct, which right now I don't. Hold on a second. There we go. 179 and 30 with 127 KOs. So we've seen it done before. We saw Jaron go to light heavyweight. We saw Roy Jones go to heavyweight. I think even did Antonio Tarver go to heavyweight as well? I'm trying to remember. Did Antonio Tarver go to heavyweight or did he stay at light heavyweight? I'm trying. It eludes me at this point in time. Regardless of which. It has happened. Feats of greatness like this have been done before. And you're right, Albuga. It's incredibly rare. I am not over-exaggerating the ease, but I cannot deny when there is something special brewing. The reason why it's special isn't because, it may happen. It's because who's doing it that's making it possible. There's a lot of fighters that Sebastian Fundora should be a heavyweight right now. Sebastian Fundora should be a heavyweight. If there's any fighter that we want to say is a weight bully, size bully, height bully, it's Sebastian Fundora. 6'5", and he's fighting at 154. He loses more weight. He can fight at 147. My gosh. His brother, he will be bigger than what? Hamza Shiraz? He'll be an inch shorter than Anthony Joshua. He'd be 2 inches taller than Usyk. But he's at 154. I bring that up in tongue-in-cheekly, but I'm saying it's not just about where you come from. The reason why something is possible is because of who's doing the something. Somebody that's making the legacy is why that legacy is so incredible, because we understand that one person amongst anybody else in the sport is doing things that others just can't do. That's why Terence Crawford moving up from 168 to 135 against Canelo was so incredible, because it just shouldn't happen. Roy Jones going to heavyweight. It just shouldn't happen. Winning all along the way, it just shouldn't happen like that. Roberto Durant, it shouldn't happen. You know what we're seeing right now, that we know good and well. That's rare amongst rare. But that feat is possible because the man behind the action is the only reason why this impossibility is even in conversation. Because I see that, the hope is there that, okay, he can accomplish it. But the reason why I believe it is more than just the hope. The evidence of his ability shows me, yeah, he can make it happen. He showed me he can make it happen, in my opinion. I think he can really make it happen. But let me see. What is Benavidez walking around weight? That's actually a really good question. I do not know. People say he's a heavyweight. People say he walks around at 190. People say cruiserweight is exactly where he's, that's where he normally is at. He looks like a bag of milk at all times, even when he's at lower weights. I'm not sure what his walk around weight is. I'm dead serious. It could very well be the brother walks around at 220. It could very well be he walks around at 215. For all I know, he could be walking around at 230. I mean, the brother was big when he got into the sport. Boxing cut the weight. He was training with a big body. That body slimmed down, but the power stayed. Because he was literally always punching with force. He just gained everything else. But like walking around, don't be surprised if it's probably 215. Easy. I wouldn't be surprised if it's 220. Looking at, again, the makeup, I wouldn't be surprised at all. Because, like, and watch, fight night. Look, you don't believe me? We're going to see when he comes in on fight night against Zerto. We're going to see. What he comes into night of fight against Zerto Ramirez, we're going to see what his real weight is. Because at that point, when rehydrating from there, it's whatever. There's no real rehydration. It's just, I'm just meat with some water. Not weight draining back up to a point. I'm weight draining back to, yeah, this is where I move. This is how I wake up. We should be good. We're going to see. But don't be surprised if it's 215, 220 that he walked around in. But if he just throws a lot of punches, he might be able to overwhelm cruiserweight. He'd give heavyweight problems. He would. David Haney should have been a cruiserweight. But he was a heavyweight. And we've seen what's the biggest gripe against heavyweight boxers today? The volume isn't as copious because it's a lot of body that you got to punch. Even Tyson Fury's gotten tired throwing a bunch of punches. Usyk's the only one that's got an engine that won't quit. Him and Caballero. Allegedly Moses Atama, but again, we can't say for certain. Jarrell Miller. Now Daniel Dubois, who's shown, okay, he can punch for days. Anthony Joshua, when he was at his peak, even when he wasn't at his peak, he could punch for days, but it ain't many. Big Bang Jang, you got 5 rounds that it lights out at any given point. One of these real one-punch killers in this division. You got 5 rounds to survive. You survive those 5 though. Pick how you want to beat him. Pick your poison. Because he tires out. Fabio Wardley gasses out after 6 rounds. And that brother throws caution to the wind. All up until the halfway point. Deontay Wilder gasses out. And he used to be a volume puncher. If you ain't the upper echelon, and I think I already said Caballero, the steam engine himself, if you ain't them, your stamina is nowhere close to where it needs to be. Shoot, even Richard Torres, who's got an engine, I've seen him wane when he does volume like lower weight classes. And he can go. He can go. So yeah, you better believe. At heavyweight, if his stamina builds up to what it was against David Morrell, Anthony Yard, where it didn't look like he was getting slower, it looked like he was getting faster. The fight went later. He's going to be a problem for everybody that hates Usyk. They're going to despise Benavidez. Because I want you to imagine somebody, instead of Benavidez ducking and dodging and moving and shaking, Imagine somebody with faster combinations than Usyk. There's a come forward fighter that can be defensive, that can be slick, that can box incredibly well, but he can outpunch you and outlast you. And when you go down in terms of stamina, I'm not going with you. He's Usyk, but more violent from the perspective of offense. From the perspective of offense. I'm not talking about this fighter as a whole. But he's the worst part of Usyk is his footwork. The second worst part of Usyk is the volume and stamina. He picks it up in the second half. Now I want you to imagine second half version of Usyk when he fought Tyson Fury. When he fought Tyson Fury the second time. When he fought Anthony Joshua both times. When he fought Derek Chisora. I want you to imagine what we talked about with Usyk in that sixth gear, past the halfway point. It's time to turn it up. That's what he does. Now I want you to imagine that if we started that from round one. He's punching at that volume. I want you to imagine Usyk offensively going for the kill in sixth gear in round one. Now, you got that in your head? That is David Benavidez as he's getting in first gear. What we see with Usyk when it's the second half of the fight and he's closing the show is what we see from Benavidez when he's just getting started. That is him dry as a bone. No sweat on his body. Round one. By round 3, he's doubled that output. By round 4, he's tripled it. Next thing you know, he'll stay at tripling it up until round 6. Then round 7, he steps it up again. Round 8, he may take one round off or go back down to a round 3 level productivity. Then from round 9 and on, my gosh, an offensive volume that's almost unmatched by every boxer in the world. That includes Terrence Crawford, who was retired. That includes even Naoya Inoue. Ben Rodriguez. That includes Brian Norman, Ryan Garcia, Mario Barrios, Moses Atalma, Deontay Wilder. That includes everybody. He's different. That's different. That's a monster. That is a monster. In every case of the word. Why he's called the Mexican monster. Like, and Frankie, you said it best. Benavidez could get a 20-punch combo off on heavyweights. He could. And they're slow enough that he can react. Understand, if you are not Usyk, Fury, AJ, Caballero, Atalma, and to some degree Fabio Wardley, from a hand speed perspective, most heavyweights, especially with Benavidez coming up, are going to look like molasses to him. The danger if he gets caught is there. Molasses. Punching through mud. Going up against him. It will be night and day. It will look like Benavidez is on fast forward when these heavyweights fight him because he is that much faster than everybody else. He's that much faster. I want you to imagine David Haye, but the speed disparity is even more substantial from a hand speed perspective. That is what we would see from Benavidez. That's what we would see. The danger, getting knocked out, it can happen. But what he can do, they can't stop. They can endure it. They can't stop it. They can take the punches. They can't stop. No way. It's way too fast. Way too active. Way too tiring. Way too offensive oriented. Way too out of rhythm of the pace of the flow of what heavyweights are. Just look at what Cabello did to Big Bang Jang. And Cabello, with all due respect, wasn't punching nearly as fast, nearly with as much conviction, and nearly with as much, this is going to sound mean, but it's the truth, technique. And we love Cabello. There's the world, he gets past Zurdo Ramirez and he does say, I'm going to heavyweight. Like I said, I guarantee, if you think it's going to be sweet for Benavidez to get beat by everybody else up there, you got another thing coming. You got another thing coming. That's about to be a dog that has a leash that just got cut. Because perception-wise, I dealt with Caleb Plant, Boo Andre, David Morrell. I spar with Bebo. I want to beat Bebo. Some people see me as I'm quicker than Bebo. And the fastest heavyweight you got right now, I'm faster than him. And in this current regime of heavyweight world, speed kills. Speed kills. Power still can win. No question. Speed. It's dominating. And if Usyk's able to do it, I'm not comparing Benavidez to Usyk. But if he can go and make this claim, make this stake, with the two attributes being speed and power, or speed and volume, y'all better look out for Benavidez, man. That's a problem you may not want to have. Another problem you better not underestimate. Because if he gets past Zurdo and he goes to heavyweight, y'all gonna be in for a shot. Mark my words. In fact, I would love it if somebody could get in contact with him. I love the interview. And I'll tell him to his face why I think he'll be able to dominate. And I'm telling you, you probably would agree. Because I promise you, it ain't sweet up there. We know. But it ain't sweet coming up there either. Because Benavidez has been through that fire, and that brother is a dog. More than anybody else. Pound for pound for a reason. Which only one other heavyweight in the world is, and that's Usyk. And he got the size to contend. I'm telling you, it's going to be, but watch though. Because you might be surprised. You may just be surprised but we're going to wrap this show up and sit at home with a bang. We appreciate all of you showing up and showing out on our show today. We're going to go and end it off. It's 9 o'clock. We try to go with 2 hours and 30 minutes on the dot. Keep it with our normal regimen. We're going to go and end the show and have yourself a great night. We're going to see you on Thursday afternoon. So with all of that being said, yes, sir, this has been another episode of The Watch Report with me, your host, Jean-Luc West. Thank you so much for tuning in and listening to the hottest show in all the globe right here on YouTube and on every podcasting platform imaginable. Yes, indeed, we appreciate all your support and all the love. Thank you to all of you who donated and supported the channel. It means the world to me on today. Thank you, Frankie Z, for the $5 super chat. Anybody else who wants to give, like I said, you still got time. As we got Cash App and PayPal, links down below in the description, all for your viewing and listening pleasure. Helps us to make this show bigger, better, and stronger for you to be able to enjoy. It helps me to pay the bills. Also on the side, absolutely, we appreciate all of you coming in and having a great time. Thank you to everybody who chatted and everybody who came in and responded. Y'all, we were late, but we made a great show out of it. I'm telling you, it was phenomenal. We're going to see you back on Thursday afternoon, cover the world of boxing and beyond, with more boxing talk, more debates, more questions, more comments, and more to come. Absolutely. Also, be sure to leave a like on the video before you leave. Comment your thoughts and opinions on what you like and didn't like about the show. Be sure to share the show with everybody that you know so we can keep on building up this empire together. And please also be sure to go through and hit the notification bell so you know whenever we post right here on YouTube and on every podcasting platform imaginable. Man, I think that is everything. We're going to be here. This episode is going to be uploaded to podcasting around the world after, probably in the morning, so I'm not going to lie, I'm tired. Probably going to try to go to bed. We're going to be back talking about more tomorrow. Have some fun. Enjoy your night. Thank you for being up late with us. And like I said, we're going to be back same time, or normal time, 12:30, same place, same channel right here on YouTube. Tell a friend, tell everybody you know. Hit the hype button on this video, by the way, before you get on out of here. Hitting the hype on this after this video stream ends helps apparently to push this algorithm even further on this video. Help the world see what we got going on. So please do that if you can. Spam it. Use up all your hypes if you got to. And just help us out. Absolutely. And we're going to see you all on Thursday afternoon. And hey, we're going to get out of here. So I've been John Luke Watch. You all have been absolutely wonderful. Peace and love. Oh, we are out of here. Yes, sir. We're going to see you all on Thursday. Have a great night. Enjoy your day on Wednesday. Hopefully I make it a little bit brighter. Be safe. Be blessed. Salute to you. Peace and love. And we out of here.